So I'm up at the boat down below, come up to do a few things, take a few measurements, make a few notes for bits I've got to buy. One of the things I'm going to do today though is something that is now necessary and something I really never wanted to have to do. I really did not want this boat to stink of diesel, but unfortunately with the issues I had on my last legs of my coming back here, diesel got into the bilge, and now it's not too bad, but there's a noticeable diesel smell. So I bought this orange oil cleaner, which I believe is going to do the job. I'm certainly going to try it. I'm about to make some hot water, get some of that in it, not too diluted, and scrub the bilges out and see if we can get rid of that. Excellent. And see if we can get rid of that diesel stink, because I do not want a diesel stinky boat. Let's go for it. Smells lovely. Good and orangey. Lovely and clean and smells nice. Yes. Hi all, I'm Tony. This is SV Tapatya. I'm here in the workshop where rather a lot of this boat build has taken place. Boat build, yeah. Tapatya is a Jay Benford designed 31'8" sailing dory, junk rigged with 2 masts, schooner rigged, and I built her myself here, parts in the workshop, in the shed that's over there off camera, and later on pulled her out into our backyard. So I built her here at home in the backyard over a period of some 6 years. It was almost exactly 6 years, in fact, building time. And after that we launched and went off for 2 months of full-time liveaboard sailing, 2 and a bit months, as testing, as sea trials. And now she's back out of the water, and I'm doing some minor upgrades of things that I learnt during that sea trial period, and finishing off one big thing that I didn't have time to finish before we launched. I have to say we launched in late July, so season was getting on and I wanted to get her in and get going, and I didn't have time to finish the Windvane. Now, I bought the plans for the Windvane from Alan of Wave Rover, and he has those plans on sale if you're interested, and I'm going to show you. This video is all about building part of that Windvane in some detail. But please, if you're interested in the Windvane, get the plans from Alan. I'm not going to give you any dimensions. You'll see how I build it, of course, but I'd encourage you, please, to get the plans from Alan. It's his design after all. But before we get to that, I'd like to say a couple of words, and that's, I know some of you are very interested in the cost of this boat, what she cost to build. And I will do a video soon breaking that down in some detail. I'm not the sort of guy who keeps accurate records, I'm afraid, so I have some records, of course. I can be as detailed as I can be, but it won't be precise. But as a ballpark figure, I reckon over that 6 years of building that I averaged about €400 a month expenditure on the boat. And if we do some quick maths on that, 12 months, 400 is roughly 5,000 a year, which probably isn't far out over that 6 years. Roughly 30 grand we're looking at to build this boat. And I say I will give you some accurate figures, but I don't think that's going to be far out. I really don't. So that's a sort of ballpark figure. And that, there's a question there, isn't there? Would it have been cheaper to buy a second-hand boat and go cruising in that? And of course the answer is yes, you can. Hazel, for example, bought her boat second-hand and paid significantly less than that. And she's been off cruising for a couple of years now. So yes, if you're looking to get out cruising cheaply, then a second-hand boat's the way to go. But for me, the challenge was, and this is, you know, I love a challenge, and the challenge was to build a boat myself and then go cruising in that. So it's, for me, that excited me, as I've been dreaming of that for years, to build a boat myself and then go off and sail that. So that expense, for me, is justified as part of that challenge. Now, obviously, there are people who go out and spend hundreds of thousands of euro on a boat and go cruising. And if you're sort of interested in that sort of thing, it's quite possible that this channel isn't for you. You know, this is fairly low budget, but it can be done at a lower budget without a doubt. Right? But obviously what I've got for my 30 grand is a brand new boat that I know every inch of, that I've had the fun, the enjoyment of building, and that adventure of building and going sailing in a boat you built yourself, which I find very exciting. Is she the perfect boat? Answer, no. Quite clearly not, you know. But I chose this design because it was a boat that I felt I could build easily on the budget that I could afford. There are better boats out there, without a question, But what I want to do now, come next spring, is to go off, sail this boat and see what we can do with her. You know, in the 2 months in Denmark, she did everything I asked of her, and I was completely happy. Now we're going to go out, we're going to sail the North Sea, a bit of the Atlantic, I think, and we'll see how we get on. It's exciting, I say. And that, just to repeat myself again, to sail a boat that you built yourself, I think it's that challenge, that excited me, and that's why we're doing it. Now, I say, the Windvane, let's get back to that. I bought the plans from Alan of Wave Rover, and it consists of two main parts: the tower element with the vane that senses the wind, and the trim tab that fits to the back of the rudder. And last time, which was the video before last, I was building the tower, and we'll pick up there, because there's a few bits on that tower that take a bit of thought and need to be made in a way that is going to last, obviously, that, you know, that are up to the elements, up to the riggers that it will be put to. So a bit of thought was involved there. And I decided to make bearings from this material. It's POM acetal, which is a good bearing material, and it doesn't swell, basically doesn't swell in water. I think there's a tiny bit of swelling, but almost nothing. And I was lucky, I had some bronze left over. You might remember I initially put bronze keel bolts in and then wasn't happy with them and took them all out again, so I had some bronze left, and I decided to use a piece of leftover bronze for the shaft of the vane. I wanted to put a 13mm hole through the bearing material, and the bronze is fractionally over 13, so I took a little skim off of that to take it down to 13mm, and that's where we're going to start. Okay, yeah, that's the one. That's nice. Yeah, that's nice. Look at that. All as well, that goes in there, and that goes in there. It does. Okay. Yeah, I'll just put a grub screw in there, hold it all together. I'd like to just interrupt for a moment and appeal to your festive, charitable nature and ask you, please, if you haven't done already, just to hit that subscribe button down below there. It would be do wonders for supporting this channel, helping it with the YouTube algorithm that I do not pretend to understand. And I say, will cost you absolutely nothing. You won't get plagued by annoying emails from me, none of that nonsense. So go on, just hit that button, please. Yeah. I'll put some grooves around there, and I'm just going to epoxy them in place now, and that'll give the epoxy something to bite on. And this POM stuff is supposed to glue fine with epoxy. That looks good. Hopefully this shaft will just slide through there. Like that. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. That still rotates, that's good. So, does it rotate? It does. They should, in theory, fit in there nice and flush. They do, lovely. should have gone all the way through there. This will thread into here. That's better. Lovely. Nice stroke grind. I think. Might be a fraction long. Oh, that'll do, I suppose. Yeah, good, I think. Got a few projects on the go, which is nice. You'll recognise some of these from my list, I hope. And here it is as it stands. So we've got the H-frame and the tower element all painted up. So I've done it with regular epoxy sealer first of all, then an epoxy primer sealer and a couple of coats of gloss. The pulley here locks on with this grub screw. Once I get the screwdriver in the slot, there we go. So that locks to the shaft, so that when we rotate the H-frame, the pulley's rotating with it. The pulley I bought on Amazon is just an aluminium pulley, which I'm sure will be up to the job. Yeah, done so far. I've still got to lock the H-frame to the shaft. I know how I'm going to do that. Show you that next week. But other than that, it's finished. I've got the vanes to make. There are 3 different sizes of actual vane that go in there, and there's a little hook coming on here somewhere and a bit of bungee that they hook under there to hold them in place. But other than that, it's done, and I'm pleased with that. It's substantial, should hold, should last. I'm happy. Next week, I say, just be finishing that off. We'll be doing the starting on the trim tab. I'll be taking some measurements this weekend up at the boat and make it start on the trim tab. So, looking forward to that. Thank you for watching. As ever, massive thank you to the lovely people who support us on Patreon and via PayPal. If you'd like to support the project, over on the Patreon site there are various behind the scenes videos. I try to get a bit up there every couple of weeks, and from as little as $1 a month. See you next week.